Hello and welcome back to Random Librarian here on YouTube. Today we are talking a bit about book mail because there is nothing better, honestly. So I got most of these from an online event that I took part in. It was a pregame for the ALA Midwinter Digital Conference with MacLib and Tor, so Macmillan Library Team and Tor, who are honestly two of my favorite publishers. And this event was absolutely amazing. They had two different author panels, as well as what they call like a book buzz. So they were presenting upcoming books and upcoming authors and sequels and all that kind of good stuff. So what was really cool about this event is that it wasn't just a book buzz, which I do love. I watch a lot of their book buzz videos that they do, but this was also two different author talks, one for YA, like a YA panel, and one for adult books. And they were riddled with authors that I just find absolutely incredible. So getting the chance to be in the audience for these author talks, it did kind of feel like a real library conference, the way that they're normally done in person. So the first panel featured Romina, Garber, Melissa Albert, Bethany Morrow, and Charlie Jane Andrews. So these are four authors that I either love or know that I'm going to love. So Romina Garber wrote Lobizona, and her follow-up novel Cazadora is coming out soon. So that features an undocumented teen who I believe is a werewolf, a magical school, and adventures. So that's definitely something that I've been excited to read for a long time. I'm really impressed at how quickly she's written and gotten the follow-up novel ready. So I think I need to bump Lobizona to the top of my list. Next up, Melissa Albert, who is coming out with a collection called Tales from the Hinterland. So this is the one author from this panel who I really haven't read anything from, but I know that they are very popular for their previous book, The Hazelwood or something along those lines. It's definitely been on my radar. I think I'm going to be buying a copy with a gift card that I got for Christmas because I've only heard great things about it. Next up we have Bethany Morrow, who wrote A Song Below Water, which I read over the summer, which is just an incredible book with her addition of sirens as exclusively Black women. She really focuses on like intersectionality and support systems and who stands by you when what you're battling is different and maybe heavier than what the people around you are battling. Yeah, just wow. And her second novel, A Chorus Rises, is coming out, and I'm so excited that they have actually sent me an e-arc of this, because just hearing her speak about it also made me just like even more excited, because the way that she was saying is that she was very surprised by some of the takes about A Song Below Water, maybe from people who weren't the target audience. Were saying, okay, our two main characters, they're acceptable, their struggles are acceptable, it's fine for them to get a happy ending, but absolutely hating a girl, another Black girl who has a different sort of magic in the book, and seeing her as like the antagonist instead of as another teenage girl going through different struggles, having different privileges. So in response, she wrote an entire book where this third character is the protagonist. I'm really excited to see how she explains and explores the powers of the Aloko, which is what our new main character Naima is part of, the like magical community she's part of, and also how she kind of battles people wanting her to like grovel, because she was kind of in the wrong in the first book. Basically, I just want to revisit this world. I'm so excited. And next up we have Charlie Jane Andrews, whose previous book I've read is called All the Birds in the Sky, which I was obsessed with over the summer. I sent to a friend of mine who is very sciencey. She wants to work for NASA, and this book kind of pits science against magic as the world is kind of ending around our two main characters. So that book was a lot of fun, and seeing Charlie Jane Anders come up with a new YA, her first like debut YA novel, also going to be set in space. The cover is stunning. I have an e-arc for this. I got approved for it before this event, so I didn't think to ask for one, but maybe I should have, so I could have shown you the cover. It is just so cool. It's called Victories Greater Than Death. So hearing these 4 authors speak about their characters and their stories and the struggles that are within, and also finding common ground and like intersections between their 4 bodies of work, their 4 upcoming novels, was just really wonderful, honestly. I'm really excited for all of their upcoming novels. Then for the adult author spotlight, featured 4 authors again, 3 that I am obsessed with already, and a 4th that I'm sure I will be, and that is Lily Menon, Rivers Solomon, TJ Klune, and Sarah Gailey. So I have the books from Lily Menon, Rivers Solomon, and Sarah Gailey that were mentioned in this author spotlight, so I'll let you hear about those in a second. The books that I've read from the 3 of these authors previous. So for Rivers Solomon, I've read The Deep, and I have their other book on a shelf, and I have read the first couple of chapters, and I'm really like hooked into it. Then TJ Klune, of course, published The House in the Cerulean Sea this year. He honestly just has such an extreme output that I am in awe. I loved the Green Creek series over the summer. I don't really want it to be over, so I haven't read the last book yet. And I'm loving The Extraordinaries, which I have on audio. I've kind of put it on hold for a minute because the reading of that fan fiction just really makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just so teenager. It's like so well done, but at the same time a little bit cringe. So I need to get back into that as well. And his upcoming book is Under the Whispering Door, which is set in the same universe as The House in the Cerulean Sea, but with a different set of characters, a different kind of emotion that gets evoked, and different kinds of like found family and things like that. And the romance in this one takes place between a ghost and the man who I believe moves into his house. So they can't touch. There's like that kind of tension, and I'm just really excited to see where that goes. Apparently I am now on the list to possibly receive that when the arcs are ready, which feels like winning the lottery, I am not gonna lie. So that's very exciting. And then another book that I've read from this grouping of authors is Sarah Gailey's Magic for Liars, which was just really well done. I sent it to a friend of mine who lives in Hawaii, and we had a good chat about it after she read it. You gotta love a magic world seen from the perspective of someone without magic. And it's a mystery and a little bit of a romance. We have the sister, like, turbulent relationship. Oh, such a good novel. I also want to read everything that they have published, so I'm going to be working through their back catalog soon. And Lily Menon is also on this list, and I have their upcoming book. They didn't speak too much about her YA novels, which I believe were published under a different publishing house, but the title I know is When Dimple Met Rishi, and I think that that is a really popular book. I've heard nothing but great things about it, so she's got plenty of back catalog as well for me to work through. And without further ado, I'll get into the books that they actually showed in the book buzz and the ones specifically from these authors. I'll start with those. Lily Menon wrote a book called Makeup Breakup, which is going to be out in February. It's going to be on sale in February. So the way that this is described honestly just made it sound like the most fun rom-com that you could have ever dreamed up in like your wildest dreams. So the makeup part of this is Annika Dev, who has created an app which is called Makeup and is the Google Translate for failing relationships. So her philosophy and her goal in life is to kind of help people communicate and help keep relationships, keep couples together and keep them happy. And the breakup part of the title is actually her competitor or her rival named Hudson Craft, and his app is known as the Uber for breakups, which the way she described it literally sounds like you hire someone to go and break up with your partner for you. And I just find that so funny as a concept and also very smart. Like, no one likes breaking up with anybody. And then they end up in like adjoining office spaces. So what's gonna happen next? I just think, oh, I love this idea. It's definitely an enemies to lovers kind of rom-com feel, and the cover is gorgeous. Pretty much for all of these, I'm just really excited they're gonna come out. So it's like a blanket statement, basically. This is gonna be on sale on February 2nd, so definitely keep an eye out for this. Then Rivers Solomon next book is okay, I'm gonna try to keep the gushing to a minimum, just tell you what it is going to be about. So this is going to be out May 4th. So it's so close to my birthday. I was born on May 2nd. But it's fine. I'll celebrate and then get to read the book. Probably read it beforehand, actually. So our main character, Vern, is escaping from a strict religious compound slash probably cult and flees for the woods. But as she's fleeing, she is 7 months pregnant and gives birth to twins in the woods surrounding the compound. While she's in the woods with her 2 young kids, she starts having like metamorphosis happen on her body, and there's some like magic stuff going on. The compound is trying to hunt her down, and she kind of has to face the decision if she wants to go back to the compound and like a given type of safety, even if it's not actual freedom, or if she wants to continue to the outside world, which has been demonized by her cult the entire time she's been alive. And the way that Rivers spoke about this was also just incredible, because as a parent, they try to go against the set like norms. They were speaking, I can't remember the exact terms of what they said. It might have been like anarchy parenting. I don't fully know, but they really want to raise their kids in a way that they aren't just obedient. They're allowed to question things. They're allowed to present their own case if they want to do something or do something differently. And I thought that was really interesting, because they spoke a lot about writing it into Sorrowland, and that was kind of the key to making this story really come out and take shape the way that they wanted. Basically, Rivers Solomon can do no wrong in my mind, and this book is also just beautiful. So, May 4th, keep an eye out. Lastly, of the authors who I have already mentioned, we have The Echo Wife from Sarah Gailey, and this is coming out in February as well. And I've actually been seeing this around or hearing about this for a bit now, because it just sounds so interesting. I love the way they integrate like science and thriller and like just make this absolutely incredible sounding storyline. So Martine is a clone of Evelyn Caldwell, who created the cloning research and the ability to clone people. But her husband's the one who cloned her and made Martine, who is not a career-driven woman the way his actual wife is. Martine is more of a like stay-at-home, like docile wife, and has an affair with the husband, even though like I'm so interested to see how they handle the, I don't know, like, is it the morals, the strangeness, the possibility? Like, Martine is having an affair with Evelyn's husband, but also she kind of is Evelyn at a molecular level. So it gets complicated, and then the husband dies. So we have two women, Martine and Evelyn, who now have to kind of cover this up and try to get out of it alive. So yeah. The back also says, when they said all happy families are alike, this can't be what they meant. And I find that very funny. And it's perfect for readers of Big Little Lies and enthusiasts of Killing Eve and Westworld, which feels right. So I don't see the date of when this is going to be out, it just says February. So keep an eye out for that. And I know that they're running giveaway campaigns for the Echo Wife and like little care packages of the Echo Wife on Tor and on Sarah Gailey's Instagram account. So check that out for sure. And now we're gonna get into the rest of the books that were part of the book buzz mention. So we have The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is a kind of The Great Gatsby-esque novel, but featuring Jordan Baker. So she has money, education, a killer golf handicap, and invitations to some of the most exclusive party of the jazz age. She's also queer, Asian, adopted, and treated as an exotic attraction by her peers, while the most important doors remain closed to her. And then I believe that there's some magic going on in here as well, just based off of the talk of the book buzz. And I'm really excited to see how this shakes out. This one is not going to be on sale until June of 2021, but especially with The Great Gatsby coming into public domain, I imagine there's going to be a lot of interest into stories that kind of branch off from that, and seeing this right away and seeing Jordan put center stage is just so exciting. And she's gorgeous. Look at this. Next up we have Winter's Orbit, and I think this one just said like space is gay on the slide, and I love that for me as the reader, for the author. It just sounds very fun. It was also kind of described as like Space Odyssey meets Red, White, and Royal Blue, because it's a political thriller between two planets where there's an arranged marriage between the least favorite grandson of the emperor and a widower from a different planet, I believe, different world, who is accused of murder. And their like successful marriage is going to like align the different conflicting worlds, but their failure could be the end of an empire. And they also spoke a bit to, yes, it's an arranged marriage, but they start finding each other attractive. They start going into like the messed up politics that first arranged them and try to figure out how to make it better. And it sounds amazing. This one's also out in February. I don't see the exact date, but definitely keep an eye out for Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is going to be just very fun. There's an author quote on the back from Lena Rather, who's the author of Sisters in the Vast Black, who says, "The slow burn, sad space boys in love romance of your dreams." So that doesn't make you want to pick it up. We have different reading tastes. And next up we have The Library of the Dead by T.L. Hushu. So this is a story set in Scotland. Our main character has dropped out of school to become a ghost talker. So she speaks to the dead of Edinburgh and tries to carry messages to people they left behind, and like make a living off of that essentially. And then all of a sudden the dead start whispering about someone bewitching children, and things get much more complicated because like this is her city, her name is Ropa, she wants to protect Edinburgh, she wants to protect the living, and I guess the dead as well since she talks to them so often. And like she finds herself embroiled in this mystery and this magic, and Apparently it is going to be part of a series because this is book 1 of Edinburgh Nights. This one is going to be out in June of 2021 through Tor. Next up we have Cool for the Summer, which I believe is a take on Grease, but made with a bisexual main character. So we have Lara, who's our main character. Over the summer she had a really intense fling with a girl named Jasmine, but when it's time to go back to school, she's had 3 years of high school, she's approaching senior year. The entire time she's been at school, she's been absolutely in love with a boy named Chase Harding, and he starts flirting with her, and at the beginning of the school year, it feels like she has the boy of her dreams paying attention to her, possibly wanting to be her boyfriend. And then, all of a sudden, Jasmine shows up at her school as a transfer student. It's also just a stunning cover. I just love it so much. And I really do want to see more, like, if we're gonna get retellings, which we are definitely gonna continue to get retellings, there's no way we're not going to. I would love to see people playing around with having a bisexual character involved in a love triangle. Like, there's obvious differences there, as opposed to normally when you're in a YA love triangle, it's like, however, will the girl choose? And then, like, the two boys are, like, very, very similar. And they have, like, very few defining characteristics. Like, I'm reading the Throne of Glass series right now, and I do like the characters, but in the first couple of books, she's choosing between Kale and, which I think is how you say that name, and Dorian, who are both, like, born of noble blood. One of them's a prince and one of them is a, like, knight, but they're both good at fighting, and they're both, like, care about what happens to their city, and, like, those are their defining characteristics. And, like, they start to get more different as it goes along, but that is the original love triangle we have. And that's very different than, say, if one of them had been a girl and had to face differences in growing up that are brought about by gender. So basically, if we could have more of this, I'd be very happy. So Cool for the Summer, this is going to be out in May of 2021. And also I love this cover. More purple books, please. So lastly, for books that I got from the BookBuzz Pre-Game ALA event is Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. I think I described it to a friend as Princess Diaries meets Crazy Rich Asians, because we have the Lost Butterfly, aka Her Imperial Highness Princess Izumi. So she is Japanese American in a small Northern Californian town. She grows up without her dad in the picture. She's raised by a single mother. And then she discovers a clue to her previously unknown father's identity. And he is the Crown Prince of Japan. So suddenly, outspoken, irreverent Izumi is literally a princess. So she travels to Japan to meet the father. She gets ball gowns, tiaras, all the whole 9 yards. And then there are conniving cousins, a hungry press, a scowling but a handsome bodyguard who might just be her soulmate, and thousands of years of tradition and customs to learn practically overnight. So, I mean, doesn't that sound amazing? Also, I love the artwork, the color. She's stunning on the front. This is also going to be coming out in May of 2021. And then lastly, this is a bit of book mail that I got unexpectedly from a friend. So this friend posted about reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time this year, and she had previously been really, like, intimidated by it, thinking that it wouldn't be like a fun read, it would be kind of a slog to get through. And Pride and Prejudice has long been one of my favorite books. As a freshman in high school, it was our assigned summer reading, and our teacher assigned us the Norton Critical Edition, which has annotations throughout that kind of add a little fun, in my opinion, to this absolute classic of a book. And I just became completely obsessed with it. I think I read it like 3 times that summer. I had the teacher that I had, who became one of my absolute favorite teachers of all time. She was known kind of as like the scary teacher, like the very strict, demanding of her students, that kind of teacher that like you hear the whispers of before you ever take their class. And for that first essay, I think I wrote like twice the required length or something like that. I just had so many ideas and I wanted to bring them all together. And when I got the paper, I got an A. And I think I broke the curve for that for that entire class. But I absolutely loved that book and I loved that teacher. And an added bonus is like I was in France when I was reading this book for the first time, so like I don't think I could ever really surpass that. So this book just has like a lot of meaning to me. And I've purchased like so many copies of it. I've had so many copies gifted to me because people know I love it so much. And another of them is a different annotated copy that I read and thought was incredible. It was like this thick. I think it's the version where you have a woman with a blonde bun and like Pride and Prejudice wear on the front, and the annotations are like half the page. So when I saw that she was reading it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what to send her. So I sent Cassidy this book with all of the annotations, and she fell in love. Like, she absolutely adores the story now. She's like, why did no one tell me this is really funny? Like, why did no one tell me this is such a relatable book? And yeah, so we had like great chats about all things Austen, basically. And so when I got home the other day, I had this, which is a memoir about Jane Austen, essentially. So it's called The Austen Years, and it is written by Rachel Cohen, who has like this turbulent period in her life where she's just lost her father and she's just given birth to her first child. And she turns to Jane Austen to kind of make sense of everything that's going on in her life. So this is a memoir told in 5 novels, and I'm just really excited and hoping that it feels like having a conversation with someone who also loves these novels as much as I do. So that's the story behind this one. Cassidy honestly sends the best book mail, so I'm just really excited to read this. I also love memoirs, so memoirs plus Jane Austen, I was like, couldn't get better. So, alrighty, let's see, how many books is that in total? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 books in total for the ALA Pre-Game with MacLib and Tor, and from Bookstagram from Cassidy, who is Ladies Getting Lit. She's one of the funniest people I know. Like, I think I've convinced friends of mine who are not on Bookstagram to follow her because I just talk about her so often. So, these are the 9 books that I'm going to have to make a priority of in the upcoming months. I hope that you got to discover a new book that you're looking forward to, maybe a new author to keep an eye out for, and if you have read or are planning to read any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks, guys. Bye!